Hey Pittsburgh, how you doing? Josh Miller here. Welcome to A Day in the Life. Today we're hanging out with Larry Richert. And you won't believe what this guy does during the course of the weekend. I'm here on a Saturday because he does a lot of stuff on the sidelines with the Pitt Panthers. I'll be here tomorrow, Sunday, because he's going to do stuff with the Steelers as well. Sit back and enjoy and get to know Larry Richert. Welcome to A Day in the Life.
Hi, I'm Larry Richert, and welcome to A Day in My Life, which starts right here, the world's first radio station, KDKA. All right, Shubway. See, we try to, you're probably wondering what's different between one station and the other besides the obvious music, because this is the world's first commercial radio station.
It is. 98 years ago.
Dr. Frank Conrad sat in his garage in Wilkinsburg playing Victrola music to amateur radio operators. Right here, the world.
A week later, he did the first gas station remote.
Well, the first commercial was really a trade deal with Hamilton's Music in Wilkinsburg because he ran out of records to play. So he went to his buddy and he said, I need some records. He didn't want to buy them. And he goes, well, what do I get out of it? They said, we'll tell everybody where. And he noticed that he sold more records that were being played on this little radio.
People were listening.
And then all of a sudden, the great barter was born.
Isn't that amazing?
Bet you didn't know that.
It's pretty wild to think about.
We are just full of it here. My mind is packed with useless nuggets. You're listening to The Voice of Pittsburgh. We'll be the last ones to let you down. I got three hours last night, but that's unusual. I usually get about 5. John, how many hours sleep? 5, average?
4 or 5, somewhere in that neighborhood. Not a lot.
Jim knows that the hardest part of the job is the wake-up call. The best part of the job is doing the show.
It's the funnest gig.
And then everything else is just like a job.
We're paid to wake up. You're paid to gig, right? That's what he's thinking. Because it's painful to wake up.
It is. It's actually painful at times.
I feel like you got the flu all the time afterwards.
Oh, isn't it though?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it's not just me. Here we go. November's starting. Oh, remember the song at Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, The Wind?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. When I want to get depressed.
Guess what? After all these years,
Yeah.
they're going to make a movie about the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I know.
The KDK Morning News producer. Okay, Andy, do something really funny now.
I could drink all these at once, like I normally do before I start the show.
That's how you got the job.
That's how I
Chugging
got
a 6-pack.
I had to outdrink Larry.
Part of the gig.
Actually,
This is really cool though. Always a home game beer.
It's 8:38. I'm Larry Richert.
And I'm John Shumway.
And I'm Jim Cran.
Oh, God.
That's Honey Boo Boo.
That is just cruel to do that to our ears. Oh. You just want to slap her. You want to slap her.
Oh, poor
KDK, yeah, Honey Boo Boo though is getting the
It's
axe.
canceled, but Mama June left Sugar Bear, and she's allegedly dating a criminal. And I find it hard to believe. I always thought Mama June had an astute judge of character.
We had the mayor in studio on his 50th birthday. Bill Peduto was here, and then Rich Fitzgerald, Allegheny County Chief Executive, and they were both seated. They sit.
I know, sit right over there.
Right.
Sit right there.
And they were shocked when Marty whipped out his own chocolate coin doubloons.
Wow.
With his face embossed in the gold covering and on the chocolate. Right?
Absolutely. I was reading an article in the New York Post, and they're always kind of offbeat, a little post because Halloween is a couple of weird offbeat kind of stories. This one was kind of funny.
So these are totally legit.
Totally legit, and they are in this cemetery somewhere in Queens or whatever. All these, but I picked out a few of my favorites. Put on his tombstone, died from not forwarding that email to 10 people.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, awesome.
Finally happened.
Yeah.
My wife hears about this because you get those emails, and I don't care who you are, even if you are quick to hit delete. There's a part of you that goes,
Back of your head.
they gotta just cover it, right? It's legit.
In just moments, Eric Frein will be appearing in a courtroom in eastern Pennsylvania after he was captured after a month-and-a-half-long manhunt. Barbara Boylan is on that story. We'll have the latest on the California University football team and the 5 members of the team who are in jail. Explain why. New numbers out from consumer spending. All coming up with Paul Rasmussen in a few.
Well, that's the Friday edition of the KDKA Morning News. Jim Krenn in the house.
Thanks,
Jim,
guys.
Nice
I
having you in again.
can't thank you enough, man. I really appreciate it, and appreciate everyone listening. Thank you so much. And podcast Jim Krenn, no restrictions on iTunes and the Sideshow Network.
And look for Larry, his Chihuahua, dressed as the devil
That's right.
tonight. All right, we'll catch you guys. Have a great weekend.
You do the same.
See you, buddy.
Woo! Welcome to the AT&T Panthers pregame show live from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. The script is back on Pitt's helmets, and that's got a rousing response from alumni and fans alike.
Yeah, people are fired up, and yeah, I am too. It's awesome to see it back on the helmet. It represents some of the best times and the best years in Pitt football history.
Do you have a game? Do you have a game face? Do you get any nerves or any last? It's like studying for a test, right? If you're prepared, you don't care. If you get pulled over and you didn't do anything wrong, you're almost happy. You're fine. Are you like that mode, that comfortable?
Well, what's great in this day and age is, first of all, I work with guys. Bill Hillgrove's been doing it for 41 seasons, so if he doesn't know, and then Pat Bostic is really a student of the game. He's a
Right.
former quarterback for the team.
Right.
He lives at Pitt. He works for the university. He's immersed on a daily basis, so and he knows the X's and O's. I'm not the X and O guy. My job, at least the way I look at it, is I kind of help set the scene. Today, for instance, homecoming,
Right.
big opportunity, a
Right.
lot of fans, a lot of old players are going to be here, alumni, and so we want to capture some of the flavor and build the excitement in the pregame. And then I go down on the field for the sideline reporting, and I figure that it's observational. It's really most important about what's actually happening on the sidelines. Is a player injured? Bill and Pat handle the real X's and O's.
I got to ask this question because I don't think people truly understand how Pittsburgh you are.
You're watching A Day in the Life with Josh Miller. We'll be right back. A Day in the Life is brought to you by UPMC, life-changing medicine. Nakama Japanese Steakhouse. You've tried the rest, now try the best. Rivertown Brewing, delivering you the most enjoyable craft beer experience. Athlete Originals, original apparel designs by athletes for their fans. We'll be right back.
Wrecking's part of our sport. Crashing and hitting things is just going to happen to you. The first time that I got injured, I tried to hide it. I tried to push through. 4 weeks later, I've been injured again, back to back. The best decision I made was to go to UPMC. We went through all these activities that had results that made sense, and things got better.
Holy cow, man, we just won the 500.
I didn't choose to be in a 25-car pileup, but I did choose UPMC.
Don't spend your time bottled up. Pack up and go. And no matter where you go, bring Rivertown along. Whether you enjoy our smooth Maxwell Scottish Ale or our refreshing Halikahiki Pineapple Ale, our advanced technology canning process ensures that Rivertown craft beers taste just as fresh and flavorful no matter where you go. Tailgating with friends or cheering on your hometown team at the ballpark. No matter where you go, enjoy ice-cold Rivertown craft beers. Visit our brewery and take a tour.
Nemacolin Woodlands. A luxury getaway with a welcome twist. To make your reservation, visit nemacolin.com and expect the unexpected.
Every day is bursted with flavor at Selma's Texas Barbecue. Southern style served right. Like Selma's slow-cooked dry ribs smothered with your choice of 6 flavorful sauces. Or Selma's Wrangler sandwiches like pulled pork, Alabama pulled chicken, turkey breast, beef brisket, and fish. Plus daily specials like our pork stuffed baked potato, half chicken, and farm-raised catfish. Grab group packs or catering for your upcoming shindig. Selma's Texas Barbecue. The real stuff. University Boulevard, Moon Township, or visit selmasbbq.com.
Despite years of tradition and a legendary family recipe, one question still remains.
You know, Mom's been making the sauce all day.
Gravy.
Sauce.
Gravy.
Ma!
What? It's Bon Jovi.
This ain't your mom's sauce. It's my dad's.
Bon Jovi brand pasta sauces. Pasta sauces that rock.
Welcome back to A Day in the Life with Josh Miller.
I mean, you're born and raised North Allegheny, Clarion. You can go anywhere you want. The world is your oyster, and you're here. You're hanging out. You know, I remember you when I was playing. We lived around the corner from each other. You were the nicest, friendly weather guy I've ever met or seen in my life, and then suddenly you just went a whole nother direction, and now you're the voice of Pittsburgh. If there was a Mount Rushmore up there, you'd be amongst some legends. I mean, did you see that? Is that the path you wanted to walk? I mean, how does that happen?
Well, it's interesting because my day job at KDKA, I used to sit in the kitchen. My parents would have KDKA on the radio while they were doing the crossword puzzle at the table, and I'd be sitting by the heating vent.
Yeah.
And the guy I listened to, Jack Bogut, is still around.
Right.
He's only 2 hosts removed from when I'm doing the show.
Right.
John Singh in between. And my parents lived long enough to hear me.
That's like Steeler head coach stuff. I mean, they don't replace those guys. Those guys.
Yeah, they stick around. I mean, there's only been 4 hosts in over 60 years.
Right.
So I don't take it for granted. I'm very lucky because other friends who are in the business have traveled all over the country. I have one friend, graduated high school, went to college with me, got me into radio. He's been in 15 cities.
Yeah.
He's doing well, but I never had to travel. I lived in West Palm Beach for a year when I graduated college. They paid in sunshine.
It's worth it.
It's cool when you're young
Yeah.
and single.
Right.
Then I came back north and had a chance to go to Detroit, Boston, or home, and I went to WTAE. And at the time, the radio had the rights to Pitt and the Steelers. That's how I really got involved because I used to feed the radio replays to NFL Films. Met a guy named Bob Angelo, who's originally from Neville Island.
Right.
And when John Facenda died, they had open auditions. I auditioned. I didn't get the job, but I showed up in the top 10, and Bob said, you know, maybe you could do the Steeler highlight, which seemed inconceivable, but that was 1985.
Right.
So then I did that, and when I was at college, I did 3 years of play-by-play football and basketball. And then eventually at WTIE, I produced the Pitt games for 4 seasons, traveled with Bill Hillgrove.
Right.
That was
Legends.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And so here I am doing my thing on KDK Radio, and Steve Peterson calls and said, what would you think about, you know, kind of joining the football broadcast, working the pregame and working the sidelines? And, you know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, especially this far into my career. So it was really an opportunity to reconnect with something I really loved in the first place. So that's how I got back into this in my second season.
That's unbelievable.
And with the Steelers,
I
had a relationship for 30 years.
Right.
I knew the chief. I met the chief Art.
Right.
He was at the first NFL Films highlight debut with Chuck Knoll at the old locker room at Three River Stadium. I got to bring my dad, and I mean, it was just an out-of-body experience.
Are you living the dream? I mean, are you way past expectations? Is this what you planned? I mean, are you sitting there, you're telling me it's going to be sunny tomorrow, now suddenly you're the voice of Pittsburgh. You have all these titles,
The weather thing was a real scam.
I mean, but you also do 100, you're the master of ceremonies, over 100 events a year. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, it's so funny because every time I do this with anybody, it always comes back to behind every successful guy is what? A strong woman that allows you to do your thing and shine and flourish.
Yeah.
I mean, so clearly that's the same thing here in your case.
Yeah, my wife, she's Oakland born. She's a Pittsburgher. She's a Pitt alum. You know, she's got a lot of ties. So when I went to her, in this case, I first said the Steelers. Tony Quattrini called from the Steelers and said, would I be interested in doing the public address?
And for people that don't know, Tony Quattrini's, you know, it's like Charlie and Charlie's Angels. You never meet him, right?
He's the guy.
You'll never meet him, but you did.
But
apparently.
and he asked if I would be interested. He said, it's a big commitment for your time. Talk to your wife. We'll call you back tomorrow. So
not next week.
No, but that
20
was cool.
minutes.
They clearly I was interested, and I said to my wife, I said, Tony called from the Steelers, and she didn't understand public address announcing at first. She goes, you're going to be gone every week? And I said, no, just the home games. And she goes, oh, do you want to do it? And I said, yeah, I want to do it. She goes, okay. Well, then Steve Peterson called the next year about the Pitt games, and this time it's Pitt broadcast, so you're going to be traveling with the team. You know, it's a bigger commitment time-wise. And I said, hey, Sin.
Honey?
I said, Steve Peterson called. He wants to know if I'm interested in working with Pitt, the football team. She goes, you're going to be gone to all the games. I go, yeah. She goes, do you want to do it? And I said, yeah, I do. So here I am. That's a big time commitment. But fortunately for me, my kids grew up through that period. So I don't have little kids. I went to all the games, went to the practices, loved doing all that. So the timing was right as well. But it's kind of a reconnection because I always had a passion for sports from the get-go.
And so everything we just talked about, but we still really haven't even tapped into the fact that you still wake up Monday through Friday at 4:30. I see you. I know this to be true.
I see you.
KDK, 1020.
On the way in.
You're the voice. I mean, is that just, are you so used to that? Because I can't get used to those hours.
It's tough. No, and everybody asks you, you probably get used to it. The answer is really you don't.
You don't.
You just manage and deal with it. I often tell people it's the hardest part of the job, the wake-up call, and then the best part comes right after that when you actually go on the air and you do what you prepared and love to do. For me, I was working nights doing television. You know, I was the weatherman at KDK doing the 5, the 6, the 10, and 11.
Right.
And I was missing everything. My kids, you have 3 young children.
Right.
Imagine if you missed everything. My wife said at some point, you got to make a decision.
Right.
I prayed for a change because I didn't want to leave the city to make that change.
Yeah.
And then Michael Young called me from KDKA and said, John Cigna is going to retire. It's not public yet. We'd like to know if you'd be interested. So it took about 6 months of working it through, but then I got to see all my kids' stuff. So I've been I'm now in my 13th year.
Unbelievable.
At KDK Radio, and I've been with the company 26.
Yeah.
And so,
what do you get for
I've
that?
been
Do you get
really
a plaque?
lucky.
Do you get a crystal ball? Do you get a ham sandwich? Have they given you that 26 year?
Last year, on my 25th, they sent me a little catalog to pick a prize.
Wonderful.
25 years, you're going to get a prize, Joe.
Well, we got something for you for being on A Day in the Life. I greatly appreciate it. I know you're very busy right now, but thank you for letting us hang out with you.
Oh, I appreciate this, and this Day in the Life isn't so much about me, but hopefully you get a little window into what goes on behind the scenes for the Pitt games and the Steelers. It's kind of fun, and all the people that are involved, take a lot of pride in what they do. There's some great home film footage of Bruno with his mom and dad and family.
Look at
as he became more successful. It's priceless. It's in the documentary. Have you seen the latest version?
I haven't seen the latest. I remember Marty showed us good. We saw bits and pieces and good portions of it.
If you guys want to see it, I'll show it to you. It's worth an hour of your life.
No, I remember.
And then you'll really get
all the locations. He would show the mountains. We used to go up here. Then he was in a home. We used to hide right in this back. I mean, it's a strong stuff.
Battle Rocca. But to be there with him, to go back there.
And how sick he got, and how he's going
He never walked off the mountain. He was carried off.
Yeah.
He had rheumatic fever and almost died. And a Polish soldier came to their home and gave them a can of milk for him and held him and thought, this kid ain't gonna make it. And then the soldier cried when they were marching out of town, and They were in the streets. Mother had Bruno. And it's pretty powerful stuff.
That's unreal.
And then, and this is how crazy life is. 25 years ago, I had a morning TV show. It was kind of like a radio show on TV on KDK. And they said, we booked Bruno Sammartino. Well, I grew up here. He was like, he's the guy you wanted to be when you were a kid. You know, I had 3 brothers bouncing off the couch.
Right.
You want to be, someone wants
I'm Bruno.
to, we're all Bruno.
Right, right.
You're watching A Day in the Life with Josh Miller. We'll be right back. A Day in the Life is brought to you by UPMC, life-changing medicine. Nakama Japanese Steakhouse. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. Rivertown Brewing, delivering you the most enjoyable craft beer experience. Athlete Originals, original apparel designs by athletes for their fans. We'll be right back.
Don't spend your time bottled up. Pack up and go. And no matter where you go, bring Rivertown along. Whether you enjoy our smooth Maxwell Scottish Ale or our refreshing Halikahiki Pineapple Ale, our advanced technology canning process ensures that Rivertown craft beers taste just as fresh and flavorful no matter where you go. Tailgating with friends, or cheering on your hometown team at the ballpark. No matter where you go, enjoy ice-cold Rivertown craft beers. Visit our brewery and take a tour.
Nemacolin Woodlands, a luxury getaway with a welcome twist. To make your reservation, visit nemacolin.com and expect the unexpected.
Rich from Locust Grove Country Shop, hiding from suppliers and chain stores. When they find out about this year's discount prices on our name brand merchandise, I don't know what they'll do.
We're not supposed to tell you we have discount prices on all our Under Armour. They don't want me to tell you that we have discount prices on all our name brand boots like Red Wing, Golden Retriever, Irish Setter, Carolina, and Wolverine. But why pay more?
Your name brand merchandise discount store. Go to Locust Grove Country Shop.
Why pay more?
It basically takes 17 years to become a neurosurgeon. We work 100 hours a week, go days without going home. It's not normal. But when it's your family member who's in the helicopter, you will be thankful for the decades of research, innovation, and commitment. That means I can say, you're in the best place, and we're going to take great care of you. I choose to practice where care comes first, and I'm a neurosurgeon at UPMC.
Welcome back to A Day in the Life with Josh Miller.
And they said, we booked Bruno Sammartino on the show. I'm like, God, that's great. I tell my father-in-law, he goes, I went to school with Bruno when he came through. I'm like, what? I say, yeah, we were classmates, lived right around the corner. My grandfather and father came from the same town.
Wow.
I'm like, you're kidding. So he got pictures of Bruno and him in class. And so we used those, and when Bruno came on, I'm expecting to talk about George the Animal Steel or that kind of stuff.
Right.
And he starts telling the story about how they survived the Nazis, the stuff that all came out in the documentary. And I was just blown away. And they were lined up to be executed, and one of the villagers saved them. They overpowered the Germans. And his mother said, don't worry, we'll never be cold, we'll never be hungry, we'll all be together, and we'll be with God soon. And the machine guns line up to shoot them. And they get saved. And
Wow.
I'm going, this is not a story that anybody, they think of Bruno, they don't know this. So years go by, I'm emceeing an Italian-American dinner. Bruno's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he gets up, accepts his award, sits down, people were loving it, and I got up and I go, wait a minute. And I told the story. I said, you don't know the real story of Bruno unless you know this part. And then maybe you understand how he became the strongest man in the world when he was an 89-pound weakling, not even. Marty Lazzaro was in the audience. I didn't know Marty then. Marty was blown away. So Marty wants to meet Bruno. His friend Dr. Frank Costa knows him, invites him at a party, Next thing you know, Marty's taking Bruno and his dad to Italy. They go back to Pizza Fraud. They make some tapes, just almost home movie.
Right.
And Marty's just possessed by this story. It just grips him.
Yeah.
And so he wants to do the documentary, and we end up going to Italy and doing all that stuff.
We're gonna double team you here, Coach.
We did a pretty good job of that.
You weathered the storm.
Yeah, the kids got what I wanted. Just gotta keep playing. Now we put ourselves on a deep hole. We gotta fight to get out of it. We gotta do that one place, old cliches. We want to play a time, one series at a time. Certainly, when we get an opportunity, we gotta take advantage.
In spite of all of that, you're very much in this ball
I feel like we're in it right now. We gotta keep fighting and stay in it. We gotta, look at the ball. We gotta stop.
How about Terrence, Webb, and Nebraska?
Terrence, I think, will be out the rest of the game. Sam will be, I think, thanks. Thank you.
Yes. That's you, EJ. Terrence Van Bradley will probably return. Terrence Webb. Terrence Webb's the only guy out. Okay, we're good. Thank you, guys.
Panthers come out first and 10.
Well, there's not much choice except to tell them keep fighting. And you don't want to say maybe hang in there. That sounds like it's late in the game and you're getting beat 40-0. But right now we aren't. It's going to take a pretty darn strong coaching job and a real great job of execution to come back. That's very shocking.
Pass is incomplete.
Like this. Very shocking.
That's a day in the life. Next week, we'll take you behind the scenes of the team, behind the team, your Pittsburgh Steelers, and the scoreboard at Heinz Field. You're going to love this.
Hey Pittsburgh, what a great episode that was. Thank you so much to Larry Richert letting us hang out with him, and thank you to the University of Pittsburgh for letting us be on the sidelines watching what Larry Richert does. Hope you enjoyed yourself. That was a day in the life.